What's going on? Welcome to the episode. Today we're going to be talking about food freedom because a lot of us experience a hyper food focused mentality in the sense that our day tends to revolve around food instead of working food around our day. And I'm speaking from personal experience here. Food used to literally run my life. And I'm not just talking about when I was focused on getting fit for the first time and recovering my health. I'm talking about when I was carrying a whole bunch of extra pounds on my frame. I would be eating something while simultaneously thinking about what I was going to eat right after that or the following meal. And fortunately, I no longer work my day around food, but rather food around my day. And I've had a lot of my one-on-one nutritional coaching clients achieve this same liberated food setup. And so I wanted to put this episode together because it is unbelievably freeing. And the thing is that if you've never experienced this, like I hadn't, it's almost hard to believe that you can achieve it because you likely don't remember experiencing anything different. You may feel like it's almost a part of who you are. However, I promise you that you have experienced something different. And the reason that I say that is because we've all been children. For the most part, kids couldn't give a shit about food. They actually often see it as a nuisance because anything that takes them away from playing is no bueno. Now, I'm not suggesting that we all need or even want to get to a place where food is an annoyance because it's an amazing and enjoyable part of life. However, it's not ideal for it to run us or our lives. So we're going to establish a number of ways in which you can go about creating more food freedom for yourself. First of all, why is this so common? Why can so many of us identify with hyperfood focus? Longtime listeners of the pod probably know where I'm going with this. Evolution. It all starts with evolution. It typically always does. When we study hunter-gatherers, their lifestyles show us just how much of their day is geared around hunting and foraging. And that makes perfect sense because if we don't eat, we die. And priority number one of the human species, or any animal for that matter, is don't die. Secondarily, it is to turn calories into babies, but first you got to stay alive in order to do that. Now, our ancestors didn't have refrigeration, or essentially the same food preservation technology that we do now in the 21st century. And we humans have evolved for millions of years in a food scarce environment. And food abundance is a very new and novel thing for us. And we're clearly seeing the cost to this, i.e. skyrocketing obesity rates, because we are opportunistic eaters and we're wired to want to consume as many calories as possible while they're available and to move as minimally as possible in order to attain those calories, because burning too much fuel makes it more likely that we die. Flashback, priority number one as a species. So what this means is that we've got what's called an evolutionary mismatch on our hands because our internal pull to eat as much as possible and move as minimally as we can is no longer matched with our external environment because food is not scarce anymore. It's abundant. We have more than enough calories available in the Western world, at least, hence this evolutionary mismatch. Meaning, if you are food focused, congrats. You're perfectly normal because you're human. Now the question becomes, what do we do about this mismatch? This is the juicy stuff, so let's get into it. There are a whole bunch of ways to go about this, and you're most likely not going to identify with all of them. However, whichever one or ones that you do, give them a shot, try them on like a shirt, and see whether they fit. The first one is to simply decide what you're eating for the day or even week beforehand so that your food decisions are done and dusted, okay? And the reason that this approach can free you up is because it takes all of the meal to meal and day-to-day decision making around food out of the equation because you've already front-loaded those decisions. You can structure this in so many ways. For example, maybe you just decide what you're going to have for breakfast Monday through Friday. Boom, that's 5 meals out of 21 if you're a standard breakfast, lunch, and dinner kind of person. Or maybe you make all 5 of your lunches for the week on a Sunday. There are 1,000,001 ways to do this. This is actually why Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. He realized that he was putting too much energy into deciding what to wear, and so he just chose to wear the same thing every single day, which freed that energy up to allocate to different things in his life. A lot of my clients actually mentioned to me how freeing it is to work with me just because A, they know what they're doing is effective, so they don't have to constantly be questioning whether they're making the decisions that are going to lead to the outcome that they want, i.e. fat loss. So that's a weight off of their shoulders. And B, it's like, okay, I'm choosing to favor these single ingredient whole foods, which limits options to a degree. However, there's a lot of freedom in that because we humans like options, but we don't actually like too many because it's overwhelming. Let's say that you wanted sushi for lunch and you open your Google Maps and you type in sushi and there are 100 options on the table. You're most likely going to quickly narrow down your options based on location and reviews because looking at all 100 is just too much for the brain. And you'll eventually get to a point where you're just gonna close your eyes and pick one because it's just like, I've been reading reviews for 30 minutes, this is nuts, my lunch break is almost over. This is actually what I experience when I open up Netflix, funny enough. There are so many options that I often spend so much time deciding what I want to watch that I eventually don't watch anything and just open YouTube and check out some fitness videos. We like options, we just don't like too many. There's a point of diminishing returns in regards to choices. So, approach number 1 is to make your food decisions ahead of time, take that off of your plate, no pun intended, and that is one way to create more food freedom for yourself. The second one is to simply reduce the number of times that you eat per day. For example, if you eat 3 meals and 3 snacks, try eating 3 meals and 2 snacks. And you don't even have to reduce the total portions if you don't want to. The idea here is that we're making food less of a focus, and the fewer times in which you can eat, by definition, helps to make that a reality. I used to eat 6 times per day because I thought that that was the best thing to do for fat loss and muscle building. I turned out to be wrong, and now I eat 2 to 3 times per day, which typically looks like 2 bigger meals and a protein snack-ish kind of thing, or just 2 larger meals. Actually, if you're curious about how my daily eating looks right now, check out the full day of eating video that I just put up on YouTube last week. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go from eating 3 meals and 3 snacks to 2 meals per day. That's too big of a jump. So just start by skipping 1 time in which you eat per day. And again, feel free to eat the same portions, but merge them into fewer feedings. Once 3 meals and 2 snacks becomes comfortable, you might want to try moving to 3 meals and 1 snack, or 2 meals and 2 snacks, and eventually you're going to land on something that results in working food around your day instead of working your day around food. That is the goal. The third way to go about this is simply skipping a meal or snack. This is without a doubt the most straightforward and foolproof approach to this. I'm not crazy about calling it fasting, just because a lot of folks tend to get their back up against the wall from that word. So I just think about it like skipping a meal. No biggie. Fortunately, your muscles aren't going to fall off, and feeling genuine hunger from time to time is highly beneficial because you actually get in touch with what true hunger feels like. And being chronically fed all the time is not evolutionarily consistent. And this is actually one of the primary reasons why we even store body fat. That stuff is there for a reason. It is your gas tank. If you're just filling up your tank every single day and the thing is overflowing, you're gonna run into some serious health issues, hence the obesity issue that we're dealing with right now. So getting more comfortable with feeling hunger from time to time is a good thing, in my opinion. As far as what meal or snack to skip, whatever one you want. And once that becomes super doable, you might want to try skipping a couple a week or even 2 back to back. Like you could try going from dinner to dinner one day. For example, I could eat dinner tonight and then wake up tomorrow, have my coffee, drink water all day, skip breakfast and lunch, and then have dinner tomorrow night. That would be technically a 24-hour quote-unquote fast, just like that, and you'd be sleeping for a third of it. Personally, the longest I think that I've gone without eating is like 40 hours or something like that, and I've got to say, it's super cool just knowing that I can go for extended periods of time not eating and not get these massive energy crashes, headaches, irritability, etc. is so incredibly freeing. And just so you know, you don't feel hungry the entire time that you're not eating. So I didn't feel hungry for 40 hours. Yes, I had waves of hunger come and hit me, but I did not suffer through hunger for 40 hours straight. That's not the way that it works. Also, there's a reason why fasting is a spiritual practice. There's something to it. So if you're looking to sort of level up and push yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally, not eating can be a great tool in your toolkit for that. If this food freedom and working food around your day versus your day around food idea appeals to you, I'd recommend listening to episode number 144 titled Boredom, Hobbies, and Fat Loss, because that episode really delves into a deeper layer of this concept that I don't hear talked about very much, but it's something that I chat about with my clients on a super regular basis. So, there are a whole bunch of ways to do this. There is no right or wrong way to create more food freedom for yourself. And I can say with certainty that if you do this and achieve it, it is so liberating. I just can't emphasize not only the health and body composition improvements via this process potentially, but also the mental, emotional, and sense of well-being benefits, because this is all about freeing you up. This whole fitness, fat loss, and health stuff is great in and of itself. But in my eyes, what it's really about is improving your life, your relationships, your contentedness on a day-to-day level. Abs are awesome. Bubble butts are great. Do not get me wrong. They're just not everything. If you're interested in applying for one-on-one nutritional coaching and or workout design with me, you can click the link in the description below or head on over to n1fitness.com/coaching. On Instagram, I'm at N1Fitness, and on TikTok, I'm at the N1Fitness. YouTube, you can find me at Marcus Sadu. Thank you so much to the folks that have taken 5 seconds to leave us a 5-star review on their favorite podcast platform. I genuinely appreciate you because that's how we reach more folks with this info. And lastly, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that you found this episode useful, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.